right in the red, he is Hurricane.
Yeah. I'll talk about it in just a second. You go ahead.
In the bottom left, saying good game, good luck. In the blue, he is Zest.
Wow, look at Hurricane just copy him, even with the forward slash.
Yeah.
Like, get your own GGGL Hurricane. But, so,
yeah.
just to kind of mention here, like, for instance, Colossus play, guys, is gone. I have not seen one Colossus in a PvP in Legacy. It doesn't, like, the Disruptor just shreks it. It's so much better in the matchup. But, like, looking here, this is actually a very aggressive quick opening by Zest. Like, he actually went for such a quick gas here. So we'll have to see, like, what he wants to do. Like, it definitely could be something like a quick Oracle, maybe Adept into Oracle or something like that. But, well, he's only got one gas, though. So, no, he's just going to go directly into the Nexus. Okay. So this is kind of a middle-of-the-road build, then, by Zest. I thought for sure he'd be trying to get a little bit more aggressive with that, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see that this early on in the game. You know what I mean? It seems like it's a build that can stop a lot, but then if you realize that there's nothing coming, you just switch into econ play.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I guess if Hurricane had done something balls to the wall, it was crazy, and he went Nexus first, that could be rough. And Nexus first is much more popular on maps like this with that back expand in PvP, so... Just kind of playing a little bit safe as Zest here, which is not unlike him from Heart of the Storm either.
Can I just take a moment here? I want to say it's so good to be back casting StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
I hadn't casted anything since BlizzCon. How long ago was that?
That was a long time ago.
Was it like a month ago or something?
Yeah, it was like the 7th of November or something.
Felt like something was missing in my life, but yeah, it's good to be back here casting.
Yeah. I can imagine. That's a really long time.
Yeah. So good to be here with you guys. This is a real treat. And we're going to see exactly how to understand this game as we cast each game one at a time. We're going to still get a much better idea. And for those of you guys watching, you're going to have a real leg up on the ladder, being able to just copy these builds.
Oh, absolutely the case. Well, we do have a couple of depths coming out for Hurricane here. A single depth going out for Zest. It's not going to do probably too much more than scout a bit and see what's going on.
Well, that's one thing about the Adept, is it actually, not just for harass, it's also actually great for scouting.
Yeah, and I mean, its price is quite a bargain for what it gets done.
Walmart value right there, man.
It's
can't beat that.
It's pretty crazy. Slashing prices every day.
Yeah. And just going to go ahead and take out a few probes here.
Yeah, and look at this. He's actually getting multiple probe kills here, even with it. Of course, as soon as those warp in, it's going to go down, but... he got a pretty good scout. I believe he saw the Stargate with the Shade. And, well, anyways, he flies in there now with the Mothership Core, so definitely sees it at this point. But yeah, this is actually something that's pretty popular right now, flying a Mothership Core over to do a little bit of harassment.
Yeah, there's not anything that can contest it right now.
Yeah, if you just don't go near a pylon, you're fine.
Yeah.
Because the Nexus Cannon would just shut this down immediately, but pylon cannons are much shorter range.
Yeah, the Nexus Cannon, I believe, had the range of an entire screen.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Well, right now we do have Zest actually chasing these Adepts out. Looks like this one guy does get in. We'll get a couple kills for sure. Adepts kill probes pretty dead.
And looks like we're going to have a nice escape. Oh, nope, not too late. Thought he was actually going to get out of there, but I guess not.
Well, taking a look here, the worker count is pretty similar on these two. Well, we do have a Warp Prism already coming up for Zest, as well as that Twilight, so kind of getting that normal tech. But an Oracle is coming out, and on these three bases could be a little bit difficult for Zest to actually hold on against that and not lose anything. But you know, I think that this will probably normalize quite quickly into Blinkstalker and then into Disruptor, and then we get to see the real madness of PvP.
Yeah, that's what PvP is starting to look like.
Yeah, it
takes a lot more finesse, I'd say, to play with that unit comp than it does with Masked Colossus.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so hard to actually control it right, and like, it's kind of crazy the different stuff you have to do. Like, Speed Observer, State clued me into this. Speed Observer is actually quite important.
Makes sense.
Observer speed, so that you can see where your opponent's army is moving,
Yeah.
And so you have to have like 3 control groups, like your Blink Stalkers, your Disruptors, and a Speed Observer to see them incoming so that you can dance yours around and move them.
Well, you have to be able to preempt their attacks. Because otherwise you might waste a blink on something and then you are just going to get punished for it.
And don't forget the way that disruptors actually work. Like if you shoot your disruptor a millisecond after your opponent's and you go towards each other, yours will never go off. You will kill yours and it will not detonate. So
look at
pretty
this.
Big deal.
All right, now he's going to go ahead and get ahead of these workers coming right up over here. And as the workers can transfer, they have to go right back.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Zest doing some great jobs here.
And he's going to try to just get out of range of the pylons. As you can see, the pylons do not have an impressive amount of range. And already relocating back over here.
Yeah, and only one makes it, but hey, he gets a little bit more, using up some more of this energy as well, trying to fly back there. He actually brought his Oracle all the way back.
Huh.
So that's kind of interesting.
Well, it's now the turn of Hurricane to use his Warp Prism and probably begin some harassment on the opposite side of the map. It is 3 base versus 3 base right now. Blink is very close to finishing, as well as a Dark Shrine here.
Yeah, Zest grabbing that Dark Shrine, so that's kind
of
cool.
interesting to see that. I guess that would make sense, though. I mean, DTs do pair well as far as tech goes with Mass Stalkers.
Sure, yeah.
So maybe, and also we got to factor in, you know, DTs get much stronger the more bases your opponent has. So in Legacy of the Void, with things being ramped up at such a higher pace, maybe he's already kind of decided that this is probably proper for the meta to have the DTs out to get that harassment.
Totally, I like it. And don't forget, like, Warp Prisms are way better now and way more used. And also, like, just build time out of that Robo is at a premium. So do you have an Observer everywhere? Are you buying a lot of cannons? Like, there's a lot of things it can do, but wow, really
nice
good catch
job there. Yeah, gunning down that Oracle. That's going to be a bit of a headache. Meanwhile, Hurricane coming down here, trying to get as many probes as he can before the rest of the harass is stifled. Forge coming up here now. It looks like we're going to have Colossus tech here from Hurricane. So these two guys going in very different techs.
Let's see how this goes. He is moving out right now with a lot of Blink Stalkers. We do have this... Wow, 4 Dark Templars in there. Holy crap. Obviously, we'll have to blink away from there. Immortal's still used in the early game in this matchup. Good against Blink Stalkers.
He might be able to just get this Warp Prism.
Oh my god, you can't just...
Misclick as he gets under that. Some misclickery going on there.
He's got to be careful about that. Well, it looks like a lot of damage being put onto these Adepts, but they are trying to go ahead and shade through into this front natural.
Immortal taking some heavy fire over here in the front, unable to back out. It will go down as the pressure continues onward over here. Although it does seem that Zest is going to go ahead and back up just a little bit, as maybe he's overextended.
The DT dropped 4 of them going off here, and look at that.
That was sick, but there's still a lot of DTs here. The Observer does come up. Again, when you're taking this many bases, and that's what Legacy of the Void is sizing up to be, oh my god, too much happening all over the place.
Yeah, Zest is everywhere. That 4 DT drop being fantastic. Just the force fields in general have been amazing here, and the fact he is going to get that Nexus.
I think he might have just dismantled Hurricane entiricane.
Yeah, it really looks like it. He's a Class 1 tropical storm now, if you ask me.
It does look like Hurricane's managed to breach the bottom part of the ramp, so the DT's not in a great position, but still mining has been interrupted over here inside the main right now of Hurricane. A 3rd base is non-existent for him as well, as a 4th base is going to be finishing up momentarily here for Zest.
Well, look at this. Zest just still positioned so aggressively with these Blink Stalkers. Has that Prism, and he can even save these Dark Templars if need be. Oh, man. Even going to get a kill there on that Nexus.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, we do have the Disruptors out. Not even utilizing them. You know, he actually was on a cooldown for Blink there, so I'm really surprised he didn't utilize that.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused by that as well.
If you blink at all, that's the time to throw out a Disruptor Ball to try to catch Stalkers, so... But right now, Zest, he's going to go ahead and transition into Disruptors as well.
I think all Zest has to do is regroup his army and attack again, and I think the game ends. It's 154 supply to a supply blocked 40 or 94.
Yeah, I mean, Zest is really far ahead, but if you keep a very defensive position with multiple Disruptors, it's very hard to break each other. Like, if Zest makes one mismove, he might lose, you know, 50 supply in the blink of an eye. It's kind of crazy how much damage Disruptors can do against a Protoss army. So, yeah, I mean, he definitely should be able to win this game, but don't count out 4 Disruptors, man.
Yeah, if you miscontrol your army against those 4 disruptors, that can be the thing that completely turns the game upside down. Now let's see how solid his blink control is coming up here as the disruptors are going to have to be activated.
Yeah, just one at a time is exactly how you have to do it. You never want to send out more than one against Protoss. Oh!
All right, so he made him spend his blink cooldown, so he's going to wait a little bit, but I think he will end up just reinitiating here. Yeah,
well, I think he will continue to poke. The thing is, when you get 4+ disruptors, you have an almost steady stream. Not 100% steady, but almost steady stream of disruptor shots. So it gets a little bit hard, but so he does throw out a couple of those. A little bit crazy throwing out 2.
The response here from Zest is pretty smart. He just keeps expanding. Oh, whoa, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and he actually snipes them all, so it looks like this actually should end up ending the game.
Yeah, this will be the end of game number 1 here, with Zest taking a convincing victory over his opponent, Hurricane. Zest is really, so far it seems like a much better grasp of how to play PvP.
Yeah, that was really, really well done. I really liked his 4 Dark Templar drop while he was harassing at the front. Like, he got enough sentries there that he was able to kind of force everything back, and then when the army retreated, he's like, well, I mean, I already know how this works. I have Blink, and I haven't been buying Immortals, so I can easily force field you in.
Yeah, and once he lost that Nexus, and then if you notice, he tried to remake the Nexus, and it actually got shot down. It wasn't just canceled. Well, it simply was not canceled. Yeah. He actually killed it again. He did have some good defense for a little bit, but even if the player can't be cracked because you go through minerals so much more quickly in Legacy of the Void, Zest can just keep expanding more and more and more and more and more. And when you have a Protoss player who's trying to turtle like that, there's really no way they can punish it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, this matchup now. I actually am enjoying it quite a bit, to be honest, even though it's like a little bit crazy, a little bit volatile with those disruptor shots. Like, it's a lot about moving around and trying to harass and breaking off pieces of your army, because it's like, okay, if you have 50 stalkers or 40 stalkers, it doesn't make that big of a difference, because the disruptor, like, they can't even all shoot at once. The disruptor, if you're blinking in or something like Zest did there, that can be very risky. If he has a slightly larger army, a couple of those disruptor shots get off, and suddenly so much of Zest's army is gone.
PvP is, especially in Legacy of the Void, I feel like as the matchup, I still don't feel like I have a good grasp on it yet, the way it operates, where endgame is supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like.
Sure.
So it's going to be cool as this tournament continues to see how it actually develops.
Yeah.
We're now going into game number 2. Such a treat to be down here.
5, 6.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Here in the upper right in the red, he needs to win this game and the next. He is Hurricane. And in the bottom left in the blue, one of the best Protoss players of all time, he is Zest.
Some really great play coming out of Zest there. I liked how he went kind of later disruptors.
Yeah.
Like, Hurricane kind of chose more tech-heavy, right? He went like Oracle, then he utilized Immortals, which oftentimes is paired with Stargate tech, because you know that your Blink could be a little bit behind. You might be lower in Stalker, so you're going to get some Immortals. And then, since he already has that Robo, like, kind of producing, went right into Disruptors. It's not like it's bad what he did, but I like how Zest was like, no, okay, so I have the 3 bases, I have complete mobility here, I'm controlling the map, and I'm putting on the pressure. And it was really cool, because it's not like in old PvP, if your opponent gets like 2 more Colossus than you, you're in a lot of trouble, right? Not necessarily the case with Disruptors. Disruptors just operate so much differently. Like, it's such a fluid battle where it's like there's so much retreating in the battle. You can't just like walk forward and win because you have 2 more Disruptors. In fact, if you try that, you will literally lose because of that. So it's, I don't know. I really do, so far, I really like the new PvP.
I'm just loving how everything has changed.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay, so the probes are now going to go out here and scout, built quite similar to what we saw in game number 1.
Yeah, it looks like they're mirrored.
Yep.
Pretty much completely here. They're both scouting even at the same time, so we'll see what type of builds that they actually want to go for here. Definitely there was a lot of great adept harassment in that last game. This map, adept harassment is always like pretty good. I don't know if we'll see as much of it here. Some of those travel distances, like to the front naturals, a little bit further.
It's really interesting seeing Protoss with an additional harass unit like this.
Yeah.
Protoss is always, since the early days, there's been a stable way to play Protoss, but you have to know how to play this cowboy Protoss style of unpredictability, especially if you're in like a best of 5 or something like that. You can't just stay standard.
Yeah.
You really, I mean, it's happened before, but you rarely see a Protoss player who just does this, like Rain's a good example, for instance, who does a solid build each game.
Yeah.
You have to be able to take a lot of risks and do a lot of very, very dramatic builds.
Yeah, that's...
And with the Adept out here, it's only going to add to the arsenal of, Protoss build orders.
Oh, certainly, and I'm sure a lot of players of every single race will echo that.
Sure.
Everyone has had a lot of workers killed by early Adept harassment, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely something you got to perfect into being good against. And look at that. I love these types of moves where it's like, okay,
so
you
cool.
send out your shade. I have to send out my shades because you did that.
Well, this shade will at least be able to do some scouting. He does see the Stargate.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big deal. We do have Phoenixes being made on both sides here.
Sometimes in PvP, or at least historically, if you're both going Phoenixes, then you're stuck going Phoenixes.
Yeah.
For a while. Because otherwise one player just gets way more, and obviously Phoenixes do damage quite quickly, so they wipe out the air very fast, and then they just start picking up your workers or your stalkers and killing them.
Yeah, and Zest in a little bit of a deficit here. He's actually grabbing a Robo, which isn't necessarily bad, but the fact that Hurricane knows that he has a Stargate means he doesn't need to get a Robo. He doesn't need to spend any gas on that or observers or anything like that. He can just focus on making Phoenixes for now. He does throw up a Robo anyways, which is fine as well, but looks like Zest getting in here. A little bit of harassment damage. Not too much,
and
though.
The second Stargate is going to be finishing up in a little bit here, so it's going to be more and more and more Phoenixes as the game progresses onward here.
And if it does go into just Phoenix versus Phoenix, man, that game gets pretty crazy pretty quickly.
What was the game? I think it was we saw SOS do this against somebody where he actually intercepted.
Flanked?
Yeah, he actually flanked him perfectly in the Phoenix versus Phoenix. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was a beautiful move, that game. It's on like Overgrowth or something, but yeah, that was... I forget exactly what the context was of... But it was like the most brilliant move ever. Like, he made it seem like his Phoenixes were out of position and just flanked and killed him. And
yeah, it was wild.
Because when you buy a lot of Phoenixes, whoever wins the first Phoenix battle wins the game almost always.
Speaking of which, we already have Hurricanes, Phoenixes surrounded. And the problems for the Phoenix player who starts to lose go up exponentially as the game goes on.
Yes.
Phoenixes are a serious pain in the ass. I mean, they can not only harass and take out your stalkers, but it also make it basically impossible to leave your base.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm really surprised that he was over there because he knew he was going Phoenixes. And when you're both going Phoenixes, if you don't have a substantial Phoenix lead, you can't actually go across the map because then they have more Phoenixes. It's like ZVZ in the old days where it's like, okay, now we're closer to his hatcheries. He has more roaches. Now you have to run. Okay, now he chased you. Okay, now he has to run.
Yeah.
But it's more unforgiving than that because they fire while moving. So
yeah,
it's not like roaches where you can poke like that. You can't do that.
You don't have to have any fancy micro to optimize damage with Phoenixes.
There's nothing new in Legacy of Void about that, man. Phoenix versus Phoenix, you can't just... Like, I mean, Hurricane is kind of in a bad spot now.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
In fact, look at that supply differential. It's just... And it's gonna be even harder. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. The Gateway Explosion is going to be just slightly later here for Zest, but that is because he was focusing on those Phoenixes early on. I guess the next question we got to ask ourselves is Zest going to try to engage the third base here? Because I would say, why not? With a Phoenix lead like this, supply lead overall, and soon have a pretty solid ground army, you could definitely... What you'd basically do at this moment is you'd actually run in and just have the Phoenixes pick up everything they can. Yeah. And let the ground army do the rest of the work.
Sure. But it looks
oddly
like
enough, Hurricane's going to be attacking here.
Yeah, he's almost got Blink, so it looks like that's what he wants to end up going for here. And
look at that.
There's those lifts, man.
That's really annoying.
That's a pretty big deal right there. He's trying to target down Phoenixes, doesn't really get anything here.
Yeah, there you go. He can just keep doing this.
Oh, man. And then the Immortals, this thing's shot down. That's it.
Whoa.
And very quick 2-0 here for Zest.